In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the settings that you can find in the pack manager that are going to help to make your life a little bit easier when working with AEJuice and Adobe After Effects. Now let's go into Kinetic Typography, for example, and let's just pick one of these packs. So let's just go for something which could be quite complicated. So let's just go for this one. So let's go business. So we'll select that and we'll just press import. And now After Effects is just going to take a moment to download all the assets required for that specific animation. And as you can see, we get the simple editor pop up, but we're just going to ignore that for now. We'll just press OK. And we're just going to dock AEJuice Pack Manager over here for now. So here is the typography pack. We've got Simple Poster 01. As you can see, it says business. Now, if I go into this composition here, you can see in Simple Poster 01, you've got controls, text 01, text 02. If we go into text 02, for example, you can see we've got this text here. Now, if I wanted a duplicate of this, so I wanted one pack that says business and another one that said AEJuice, for example, the typical way you would duplicate a sequence or a composition in After Effects is to click that composition, so Comp 2. Then you go into Edit and you select Duplicate, and that makes a duplicate. So you can see Comp 4 now has this business composition. So you can see it's got that animation. But the problem is if we go into Comp 4, go into the Simple Poster, go into Text 01, and we change business to AEJuice, for example. If we go back to Comp 4, you can see that has now been updated. But the problem is if we go back to our original Comp 2, that has also changed to AEJuice. And that's because we've duplicated the composition, but we haven't actually duplicated what's inside the pre-comp in the composition. It sounds complicated, but let me show you how you would do that in AEJuice with the duplicate button. So let's load back up AEJuice Pack Manager. We'll get rid of Comp 4, so we'll just get rid of that. And we're just going to make a duplicate of Comp 2. So let's select Comp 2. We'll select the duplicate button, and that will make a duplicate of this. So as you can see, you've got Simple Poster 02. Now, if I was to go into Simple Poster 01 and I was to change this to business again, now when I go back to the main composition, you can see this layer here, the top layer is AEJuice, but the bottom layer is now business. So I'm just going to move this across. So you've got business here and you've got AEJuice here. So if I go down into Simple Poster 01, you can see this is saying business. But if I go across into Simple Poster 2, when I click in, this is now saying AEJuice. And that's because the duplicate button inside of the AEJuice Pack Manager is a true duplicate. So rather than just copying the composition, it's actually copying everything within that composition and it's relinking all of the expressions. And it's basically allowing you to have multiple copies of the same animation or the same composition, but make fine adjustments throughout each different variation. So you can see this is going to save you loads of time and it's going to be much easier if you want to bulk produce content inside of AEJuice Pack Manager. Now, the next button that I want to talk about is the freeze/unfreeze button. So if you look in this bottom right corner, you'll see this clock icon. If you press that, it's just going to freeze the animation. So if I move this out of the way, you can see that is animating. But if I was to select this layer, then press the freeze frame layer and then come down to here, you can see this is now frozen in time. Now, there's not really a lot of point doing it to this layer because there's not really much going on. It's just a simple animation. But if I had a Cyberpunk HUD animation, which had loads of complex animation, I could just freeze frame the layer. Then I could just go in, change the colors, change the fonts, change everything in real time. And then I could go back in, select that layer and select unfreeze. And that will unfreeze the layer. So I could go in and make all of those changes in real time without having to wait for After Effects to render out that entire video every time I make a change. So mentioning Cyberpunk HUD, if I was to import this animation, you can see there's glitches, there's animation up, there's text, there's different colors, there's loads going on. So if I was to freeze that, I could go in and change the fonts, change the colors, change loads of different properties, and that would all just happen in real time because it's a frozen layer. That one is very handy, especially if you've got a slower computer. Now, the next button that we're going to talk about is the loop button. Now, by default, when you import one of these animations into After Effects, it would just import and play back once. But if you press the loop button, then it would just seamlessly loop over and over again. So as you can see, we're in the shape elements pack and you've got firework 02 here. So let's just select that and press import. And of course it's going to say preparing to download, and it will download that and add that into Adobe After Effects for us. Next up, the simple editor will pop up. So we'll just press OK on this. And then I'm just going to dock this over to the left and just pull this over to the right. And now you can see that's just going to play back the one time. Of course, feel free to increase the scale of this so that we can see what we're doing. So this is our firework animation. Now, as you can see, by default, it's just going to play back once. But if we select that layer and then we select the loop button, you can see that's just going to keep looping over and over again. So that can be really helpful. And of course, this works on every single animation preset, every pre-comp, everything you bring into After Effects from AEJuice. If you select the layer and then press that loop button, it will just create this endless loop cycle. So that is very handy. And then the last button that I want to show you is this one in the bottom right corner, which is clean AEJuice folder, removed unused items. And that is exactly what it sounds like. So if After Effects is running a little bit slow, then it probably means you've got lots of saved data just sitting around in the background, just slowing down your machine. So if you select remove unused data, as you can see, it comes up with 667 items that were not used have been deleted. So that's 667 items that were sitting around, not doing anything towards this project, that were just taking up room and slowing down the computer. So by selecting that button, removed unused items, it's going to help to speed up my computer, and therefore After Effects and AEJuice will run much faster. And there you go. Those 4 buttons in the bottom right corner of every single pack are really awesome. So it doesn't matter what pack you go into, you're going to see all 4 of those buttons. You'll also see a few variations depending on which pack you go into. You can see the transitions pack have a lot more buttons, but generally if you go into any pack, you'll see these 4 buttons in the bottom right hand corner, and they're all really useful.